You know that feeling you get when you watch something that someone makes and you think, hey, this is pretty decent. I can only imagine what would happen if this person actually put any sort of effort into something. And then you watch the thing that they put more effort into and you think, yeah, that was fantastic. Well, that's Starship for me. There were hints in the earlier shows that the people of StarKid were good at writing things. However, the shows that they made in college were just for fun. Once they moved to Chicago and made this more of a job, they came out with something really good. I really like Starship. If there's one kind of nitpicky bad thing to say about it, it is that it is a little long. StarKid was not necessarily great at streamlining their shows in the earlier days. However, while the show is almost 3 hours long, to me it never really feels that way. There were a couple of moments where I thought they could have cut some things, but they were few and far between, and even with those moments, the musical never felt like it dragged, which is not something that I could say about their earlier stuff. I love the relationships in this show, and I don't just mean the romantic ones, though obviously those are great. February and Bug, Roach and the Overqueen, which became so much more than just Roach being the queen impregnator, and of course Tootsie and Megagirl, probably being one of the most iconic romantic relationships that StarKid has come out with, are all obviously really great relationships. But what I love, I think I would say just a little bit more, are the other relationships, the more platonic or familial ones. The relationship between all of the Starship Rangers are great and a very big part of this show. They are a family, if a slightly dysfunctional one, and it's just nice to see, and it's also nice to see how readily they accept Bug. The friendship between Bug and Roach is something that I definitely mentioned a couple of times when talking about the songs, but it is absolutely something that bears repeating. It's just a really nice and wholesome friendship to see, even if it's not focused on as much as the Starship Rangers. The growth of Bug is absolutely phenomenal, and definitely one of the best character arcs that StarKid had written up to this point. From Bug going to a selfish individual who only cares about what he wants to do, to someone who grows to love and care for someone so much that he's willing to sacrifice his life for them. Another great thing that this musical has going for it, it's one of its main themes, namely the idea of accepting who you are and not letting others tell you who you are. While this obviously applies to most of the main characters, it is especially prevalent in Megagirl. Megagirl is designed to be a purposeless slave, in her own words. It's only when Tootsie sees her as her own person that she realizes that she can be her own person, outside of her programming and her desire to kill all humans. Finally, just so I can wrap this up before it gets too long, I need to talk about the songs. There aren't a lot of songs in this musical, especially considering how long it is, but each one is great. Darren and Chris really, well, kicked it up a notch. If there's one positive from all of the previous shows, it has always been the songs, and this one really upped the quality. As I mentioned, each song in this musical is great, which hasn't always been the case. A lot of the previous songs had some that I just didn't like as much. Part of that may be because there are considerably less songs, but to me it seems they're focusing more on quality instead of quantity with this musical, which is always preferred. Special shout out to a few songs, first and foremost being Kick It Up a Notch. Tessa placed it at #1 villain song for a reason, after all. StarKid has written a lot of really good villain songs over the years, and I don't think any of them have topped Kick It Up a Notch. That's how good it is. It's the right mix of menacing and welcoming, the tempo changes reflects what each individual person is going through, and it's just overall a really strong indication of what kind of a person this villain is. Also, Dylan Saunders sings this song with his arms up in the air the entire time. It's very impressive. Next shout out goes to The Way I Do, the love song between Tootsie and Megagirl. Not only does it show this relationship in a phenomenal way, it also reflects that main theme in a phenomenal way. It's a beautiful piece, mostly heartfelt, but with a little bit of humor mixed in as well. And of course, Dylan and Meredith sound gorgeous together. Final shout out goes to Status Quo. Once again, we have a song that reflects this main theme, with Bug actively rejecting what he has been told to be. It's also just a really good power anthem. And of course, there's Joy Richter, who had gotten so much better since the previous shows, and this show, and this song in particular, gave him a chance to demonstrate that. This is such a good musical, and a really great indication of where StarKid was heading from this point. So that is the final wrap-up for Starship. Tune in next week while we'll be talking about their next musical, Holy Musical Batman. See you then!